to welcome everybody to this morning's session titled Sharing Stories and Building Networks, CLC Ranger Program in the Spotlight. So could you please all join me in welcoming the presenters to the podium. So we've got with us today that are going to be talking, Shannon Lander, Damien Williams, Serena Presley, Richard Ferber, Petria Kavanagh. Thank you.
G'day everyone. My name's Shannon Lander. I'm a ranger from Central Australia. Great to see people here at this conference from all around the world. First we'd like to acknowledge the TRs of this land, the Larrakia people, past and present, for hosting a great place to have this conference. I'm going to go on to explain to you what the Land Council does, Central Land Council does, sorry. We will refer to it as a lot as CLC, and just explain how the Ranger program fits within CLC and what we do. We plan to show you we work with other organisations from many countries, and the importance of our relationships and networks for our work. CLC was established as part of the Land Rights Act in 1975. The Act gave Aboriginal people title to almost half the land in the Northern Territory. Aboriginal land rights has given people the strongest land title in the country. The main roles of the CLC are to consult with, represent and support Aboriginal people. The main office is in Alice Springs, Central Australia. To give you an idea of the CLC region, it's about the same size as Turkey and about 1.4 times the size of France. There are more than 15 Aboriginal language groups in our region, and for example, Dock River Rangers in the south, 1,650 kilometres by road to Kalkarinji, our northernmost ranger group. In 2002, the communities of Yuendamu and Larger Māori started the first CLC ranger groups. In 2011, 160 Indigenous people were employed through the CLC ranger program. There are now 10 ranger groups working across our region. The ranger groups work on a variety of environmental and cultural projects on land and our neighbouring lands. The Rangers gain basic training in conservation and land management, and then many specialise their skills to build their own future in the workplace and to improve the Ranger unit's ability. Rangers look after the country and manage the country with the guidance of traditional owners. They combine the cultural, environmental, spiritual and social aspects of looking after country to guide rangers in the work that we do. The rangers work with everyone that has connections with the land now and into the future. This includes owners of the land, neighbours, scientists, tourists, anthropologists and young people who hold the responsibility later in life. We work both ways, traditional and non-traditional. Here's some of the rangers with some of the work we do, looking after important places. Here's rangers getting bird nests off an important rock art site. Rangers record important information about important places, culture, plants, and animals, and threats to the land. We clean out rock holes, springs, stokages. They vary in sizes from small ones through to the larger ones, and then onto the river systems. Rangers manage feral animals and the problems that they cause. We manage land with fire using traditional methods and also modern science practices. Rangers deal with weeds and the problems they bring. We work with scientists to carry out biodiversity surveys and develop our own monitoring programs. We take visitors into country to learn and understand our culture. Rangers work on visitor infrastructure, including walking trails. And so you can see the work we do is very broad. It varies from place to place, even for the same issues. We work in different language groups, different landscapes that have different histories in fire, land use, feral animals, and weed invasion. They have different soil erosion problems, visitor impacts, climate, and the list goes on. Next is a picture of our ranger unit network structure. Here's a layout of the networks and the relationships that the ranger program deals with from day to day. This is from traditional owners, other ranger groups, other language groups, people within the CLC, like lawyers, land management, feral units, employment units, and the list goes on. We work with local communities and shires, work with the local governments and national governments, trainers and funding bodies, and the list goes on. As you can see, it's a quite complex structure. We now have 4 short presentations from 4 different range units, and they're going to be examples of projects we do in different networks and different networks we develop to make sure we can do our job well from now and into the future. The first presentation is going to be about managing large-scale problems with wild horses, involving many strong networks and strategic planning from a community level up. The second presentation is going to be following a storyline, and it's heavily rooted in the networks of traditional owners across the land and the support of natural and cultural resource management experts. The third presentation is going to be about looking after bush medicines with our elders by looking after country and passing on the knowledge. Now, the fourth presentation is going to be specifically about networking, and not only for project needs, but for the partnership development and strengthening of our foundations for the future. I'm now going to introduce you to one of the Ginger Porter Rangers for our first presentation.
Hello, my name is Richard Ferber. I'm going to talk to you about feral animal management. Horses are a big problem in our region. I am a Spinaranda man. I am a Ginger Porter Ranger. Ginger Porter is southeast of Central Australia. Feral animals came to Australia in the early days. We have to deal with foxes, donkeys, camels, and horses in Central Australia. I am going to talk about how we are dealing with feral horses and some of the problems. They damage waterholes, sacred sites, native plants, bush tucker, bush medicine, and cause soil erosion. People like horses a lot. When they was working at stations for days. As kids, they have grown up with them. People enjoy working with them. Today, they still ride horses. We work with traditional owners of the land, community people, to help them look after the country, so we can work the right way. Often they have different ideas how to look after the country. We also work with horse owners, community members, pastoral officers, and our neighbors. We thought about many different ways to deal with the problem. We could break in horses for personal use or for the trail rides. Once the horses and meat work, shoot and calm animals when the numbers are high, fence them off other places. And the decisions were made what to do. The rangers set up monitoring programs. We did this help from scientists and trainers. We did a lot of fencing to keep the horses out of important places. We built cutting points, watering points, repaired yards for better management. We did this help with CLC staff. We kept trucks and muster animals when the conditions are right. Condition owners can have better management over their animals. We have been doing horsemanship training with the younger people. This is to teach the young ones to respect horses or work with them. It also help provide training and skills for work for other jobs. We're also getting ready for some future plans. They might be other jobs on stations for people who work with horses. They could be more community events like the horse race ride and local race. It will help our young people stay out of troubles. Some rangers might go to America to learn horse trade rides. Ranger unit. So the ranger unit work with CLC staff, traditional owners, local community, station owners, horse experts, community scientists, trainers, and some others. Thank you. I'll pass you to the next speaker.
Hi, I'm Serena. I'm going to talk about a ranger unit following the Aki dreaming storyline through our country. Aki is an important land to my people. I am a mature senior ranger, 2 hours north of Alice Springs. My family are all from this region. This is a photo of the other woman ranger I work with. There are only 2 women in our group of 7 rangers. Through our work, we look after our land and pass on our culture and knowledge. Aki has a dream story, a dance, a song, a totem, and it's connected to a place on our land. Aki is also called the bush plant or native currant. It is a small tree with a fruit that is smaller than blueberries. The fruit grows after rains when it goes black and soft. People eat. The traditional owners of our region wanted to start recording stories across our land and looking after important sites. We wanted to do this in an organized way that suited our culture, and so we decided to follow storylines. The Aki storyline isn't very complicated, but travels through many skin groups, areas, and so many people could be involved. The story starts on mature land, so it was easy for us to follow. We needed to keep the story strong so we can keep our culture strong. This will help us to look after ourselves and our country. In the dream time, Aki traveled across the country, stopping at places along the way. This is the story that we know and share today. It is how we understand our country and our family relationships. From the map you can see that Aki started outside of the land trust near community. We followed it from here through cattle station land and into the land trust. We make sure we work with the cattle station managers so we aren't in the way of any mustering or other station work. If we want to do work on stations, we talk to the station owners first. Family groups who are attached to the story and the land follow the dreaming story with us. Senior people with the knowledge guide us along the way and teach us and the young ones. We do a lot of different work along the way. We collect bush food and bush medicines. We record stories, dances, songs with the elders. As we go along the Aki storyline, we discuss and plan with the traditional owners and community about how to look after the Aki sites and the surrounding countries. This is a very ordered way to do land management planning for us. Once we've done the planning from the following storylines and having meetings, we decide how we will keep the places clean and safe. Sometimes we might need help with this if there are larger problems like erosion, fire management, water problems, too many ferals, or bigger stories that needed recording. Sometimes we might need to take some right young people back there to learn stories from the senior elders. We still have some work to do on this project. We need to go through the recording information and make sure it's all okay. We need to edit and archive it all. We will make DVDs and booklets to give back to the elders and their families. Aki doesn't just travel on Maja land, it also travels through Kadik and Wadwin country. There are neighboring language groups. If we want to keep following Aki, we might be able to do with this owners of their country and other ranger groups. This will help strengthen our work with other ranger groups and language groups. This is through keeping our culture and knowledge strong. So you can see through this type of work, we also work with a lot of different people and different organizations. I'd like to point out here that we will work strongly with the schools, linguists, anthropologists, and media consultants to make sure the stories are recorded well and kept for our future generations. And then next speaker, Katrina.
Hi, my name is Katrina. I'm going to talk about how we look after bush medicine in our country. I'm a ginger border ranger from southeast of Alice Springs in Central Australia. Ginger border is also known as Sanatrisa. This is where I'm from. I'm an Eastern Islander woman. I was the first female ranger to join the Ginger Border Ranger. Over a year now. We're looking after bush medicine because they have the story and dances. They're a culture, but also still a medicine. Here's a few of the bush medicine, and I'll name them in our language. Arindan, Pinch, Rata, Unji, Urtaran.
We use our medicine for many things. They help to dry up flu, headaches, chest infection, cough, skin sores, skin burns, wounds, and bruises. We use them for spiritual work too. We use our medicine a lot because they're important for our health and our connection to country. But there's some problems for the medicine. Erosion drains away the water, takes away the soil, weeds crowd out the medicine plant, hot fire kills the plant, feral animals eat them all and ruin the country. We also have some problems with over-harvesting from people, and we're worried the knowledge will be lost. This is all affecting the health and abundance of our plant. So we started looking at it and working with traditional owners to map where the different medicines are. We use cyber tracking, drawing on maps. We work with the old people to help them pass on the knowledge to the young ones. We also record the knowledge stories about bush medicine. The rangers have been doing a lot of work looking after country. This includes looking after the medicines. We get rid of all weeds, fix the erosion, and light cool fire in winter to stop the big summer fire. Recently, we held a workshop with a lot of women that use bush medicines. We took the young women to learn from the elders. We talked about harvesting protocols, and ways to monitor it. Some places are over-harvested because people from main towns go up bush to harvest in the area in a country. Some places are easy to get to, so they get harvest more. About 40 women from 7 communities around Central Australia went to the bush medicine workshop and shared their stories. We also had other CLC staff, anthropologists, other local Aboriginal council and cooperation, other ranger groups, and the local traditional healing centre working with us. So we needed a lot of people to help with this work. And so I'd like to say thank you to them. And now I'm going to turn it over to the next speaker.
Hello, my name is David Williams. I'll be talking about networking and skill transfer within range groups and other organisations. My name is David Williams, and I come from Daria, which is Johannesburg, and it's there. It's 125 k's southwest of Alice Springs, and yeah, all my family live in that area. As our ranger groups have become more stable and experienced and stronger, their work has become more diverse, complex and challenging. They've started looking further afield for examples of how to solve some of the more complex issues and to see how other groups do similar work and to find more comrades out there doing the same things as we're doing, to expand their skill base and experiences and to source people with specific expertise. This is a deliberate strategy to expand and solidify our networks, thus helping us grow with each other and become stronger and share stories and experiences. Pulling together as one is historically proven a usually positive thing when you're all working towards the same goal. So that's why we're doing it. We all want to look after country and be healthy communities. Our work in networking we work in networks from the local through to the international levels. Some of these are working with school groups and community groups, working with junior rangers as well. That's one of our big programs that our CLC rangers have been doing lately. Working with our traditional owners to learn and help others. More Central Land Council planning groups like regional fell and fire planning groups, and other land management forums, territory-wide on the natural resource management forums and groups, and to do presentations as well. Rangers support other ranger groups as well from other regions, and meeting with other land councils that neighbour in neighbouring regions. Nationally attending meetings and forums to listen to others present, and some of our ranger groups have gotten national awards. So yeah, and internationally, well, I was lucky enough to go to Canada to do an exchange. There's that photo up there, and got to go around and talk to a lot of the groups from over that way, and forums like this one here. We also try and do gender and youth participation. We have a women's group that's just started in our area, the Trump Women's Rangers, and they've been with us for about a year and a half. They started out of doing other kinds of work as well, and just with us helping them to grow and become a more stronger group, sharing resources, sharing time, and sharing knowledge between women and men's things, because for us it's still pretty separate. There's places that men can go and women can't, and there's places that women can go and men can't, and the women have the other side of the knowledge tree with traditional women's stories and all that kind of stuff as well. And we try to, as I said before, we have the junior rangers, and that's just an opportunity for us to pass on our knowledge and be able to get the senior elders to support and share that knowledge as well. Regionally, we have in each ranger group we have a few people that go in between each ranger group and help each other out, providing guidance and support for starting up other ranger groups in our region as well. Sharing skills, experiences, and helping other groups out with the big tasks and that kind of thing. Learning about issues on other people's country as well, and then trying to come together and figure out together how to solve a problem. Building leadership skills and knowledge, knowledge as well. Keeps our groups motivated and, you know, helps to keep each other energized as well, and gives us opportunities to go and work in other areas around the place as well, to go visit other groups and yeah, see places that we've never seen before, and collaborating on bigger projects like the Feral Camel project, which two of our guys, the Toronto Rangers, go out and help with trying to get the numbers of camels down. And as you can see, Shannon and his groups closing up old mines and that kind of stuff as well. Our regional and national forums that we've attended, regionally in our organisation we have an annual range camp, and that gives us a chance every year to get all the groups together from all over the Central Land Council region, and yeah, just talk about what's been happening for the last year since we saw each other, and yeah, just talking about new challenges that come up, and yeah. And we have a biannual range camp as well, where we try to invite other range groups from all over Australia. A couple of years ago we had some guys from the Western Desert, Central Western Desert, and yeah, we'd like to get more other range groups out to our range camp, and yeah, presenting in all sorts of other forums as well. As I said before, I was lucky enough to go to Canada and travel a very long way just to go for about 8 days, and yeah, it was really have one night in one place and then move on to the next place really quickly. So that was the first time I saw that much snow, and the lake was freezing over, and it was just freezing. And the guys were telling me that the temperature gets to minus 40, and I was telling them that we get plus 50 back home. And so yeah, it was really hard to try and get used to it. And yeah, just talking, about our history and the stuff that we've faced as well. And I found that over there it's all very similar. We have the same sort of struggles, and so it was good to go over and talk about Indigenous protected areas and joint management with the guys over there. So we hope you can see from our talks that our work with other organisations and people at many different levels is vital for us to be successful in looking after our country, community and culture. So we'd like to thank our main funders for helping us with this, and acknowledge all the people that have worked with us over time, now and into the future. I would also like to say that we wouldn't be able to do this without working with the support, trust of our elders and the knowledge they have given us. So I'd like to thank them as well, and thank you for listening to our talk.
Thank you very much. Now we've got 10 minutes for questions. Who would like to ask a question first?
No questions?
No, there'll be questions. There's questions. Questions? It's been so good they know all the answers.
G'day. I was just really interested in ranger networking. Just wondering if I could talk to you after how you would get that going. Because you sort of do the same thing where I'm from as well.
Yeah, no worries.
Any other questions? If not, perhaps you can elaborate on that now. For everyone.
You look like you're getting an enthusiastic answer. You're doing good.
But you're going to ask a question or you're going to talk about?
You guys
suppose you wanted to know a bit about our networking and that. Basically, we started building from our ranger exchange just within our own groups, because as we said, we've got 15 different language groups, 10 different ranger groups, and they work all on different country that overlays each other and things like that. So just having that team building within the groups, because a lot of the time we don't even see each other for, we may see each other once a year, which is usually at the ranger camp, and we sit down and share our stories. And it's similar to coming to this conference. We all kind of working on the same page. We're in different countries, but we all work on the same sort of issues, So we basically network, and then going to some of these conferences and that, we try to build our relationships and get those network things happening. And like I said, we start at the small scale first, and we see rangers become confident within visiting other people, and then we branch out, and if the funding's there, or if resources are there to link the two groups together, definitely go ahead with it.
Yeah, my name's Will. I'm from the Kimberley Ranger program in Broome, and my question's about women rangers. You mentioned that in your community, Damien, you've got a group of women that have just started as separate rangers.
Yeah, our group hasn't got any women rangers in the group at the moment. But yeah, we have a ranger group that started sort of out of doing, just to try and get the other side of the ranger group, of the knowledge as well. And so, pardon? Yeah, they work with another organisation that's out in Hammarsburg, which is TALK, the Toowoomba Outstation Resource Centre. And so, because we're missing that female side, they got some funding together and was able to start the group up. And so we pretty much work really close all the time, anyways.
Yeah, basically as the ranger groups are evolving, they're realising that the issues are so broad that we need that balance of female and male rangers, So a lot of it started off just one-sided, but then as the old people seeing the work that the rangers do and the outcomes and the looking after and passing on knowledge and all that stuff, they realise, they've got to start working on balancing it so it works, equally.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Thank you for that. My name is Derek Dolan. I'm not a new person from the lower lakes in the Coorong, South Australia. Just interested to know the selection criteria for your rangers.
Basically, we kind of, each ranger group's in the local community, and we basically put out a notice to say we're looking for more recruits, and people come in, and we kind of put up a bit of a balance too, because we do a lot of physical work, and we're lucky in a way with elders and people like that. We can put them on as part-time, on certain projects. But yeah, a lot of it's just what sort of drive people have got too. Because some people want to be rangers, but they don't have the drive there. So it's kind of a balance. There's no particular selection criteria. It's just basically how the group fits in with each other as well,
Okay, we've got time for one quick question. Last one. Hang on, I'll just bring this down here.
With the work plans, how are they approved? Do they go to full council, or are they just approved regionally?
Regionally, our rangers run off solely off what the traditional owners want, because they're our drive, they're our backbone for our ranger program. So it's basically traditional owners drive it. Then we put a work plan together, and that gets submitted to the Land Council, and it kind of all pieces itself together like that. But it's driven by the traditional owners.
Great, if we could thank all the rangers here today and their entourage for coming and presenting. And if you've got any other questions, feel free to come and talk to them now or in the lunch break.